organizer. So I'm going to start, yeah? Yeah. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good afternoon to all. And this is lovely to see all the lovely faces today. And today's sessions, we are going to talk something which is very, very interesting. All right, we have here Dato Idrani Turala Singham, all right? Dato Idrani is very much a well-known person. And she's going to talk about something on the topic of consumerism. Also, I'm having Datin Jaiyah Shabudin, a very well-known trainer, coach, and specialist when it comes to the sustainability, competency on halal tourism, Muslim family tourism, element which is related towards what we call it the tour guide and so on and so on, and very well versed when it comes to building up talent and competency. And of course, we have another speaker, which is also one of the very best speaker, which is Syahika Huda Paiman. Dr. Syahika herself, she is a scientist, and she has a very strong foundation in terms of what it takes to bring out the value of halal, and then the value of ethics with the research and development that they have done when it comes to the use of materials. Because we're talking about halal toiban, we need to ensure the consumer are all protected, the employees are protected. So there has to be better than just the halal process. It has to be also related to the usage of other utensils that can enhance the ethical values of halal. So we have very strong speakers here today. And it is good that, we all going to come in and share our views. So after this session, there's going to be the panel discussion. All right. And so stay tuned. So, but before we get into the panel discussion, I'm going to call upon again, Dato Indrani Turasinghe, which I believe one of the best known person who would be the best people to talk about what it takes here for people to understand what the rights of employees, the right of consumers, and of course, when we're talking about sustainability, the right for us to protect the environment. So how does all this blending comes in with the fact that the consumer is the one who's supposed to be the custodian of the earth? So over to you, Dato Idrani.
Thank you, Doctor, for the opportunity to speak. So let me, since I come from the consumer movement, let me start by saying consumers, by definition, includes all of us, whether we come from the public or whether we come from the private sector or whether we are policymakers. By definition, all of us are consumers. But most often, our views are not heard, and although we are the largest economic group. But over the years, since 1960s, we have actually highlighted 8 consumer rights. This was done by Consumers International, which is a global consumer movement. And this has been encapsulated in the UN guidelines for consumer protection, where all UN member states, which is the 193 countries, have to ensure that these 8 rights are enshrined in whatever guidelines or laws in their respective countries. So what are the 8 rights that we have as consumers? Firstly, we have the right to basic needs. When we talk about the right to basic needs, this is about the right to goods and services that guarantees our survival. Of course, this includes adequate food, when we talk about clothing, shelter, healthcare, education, as well as sanitation. And I think over the years, we also talk about now digital devices. For example, mobile phones now seem to be more of a basic need rather than a want. The second right that I would like to talk about is about the right to safety. The right to safety basically is about the right of the consumer to be protected against products, production processes, and this is also where workers come in, which are hazardous to health, or also which is hazardous to life, So when we talk about patient safety, worker safety, food safety, road safety, household product safety, and even personal safety. So this is about the right to safety. So this includes workers' rights and consumer rights. The next right that I would like to talk about is about the right to be informed. And this means, again, for both consumers and also for the employers, the rights to be given facts that is needed for us to make an informed choice or decision. This is where we must be provided with adequate information, enabling us to act wisely and responsibly. Again, this includes where we are protected from misleading or inaccurate materials, advertising, labeling, packaging, and all the other relevant means of information that is given to us. The next right is about the right to be heard. Here it means the right to advocate consumers' rights and even the rights of the workers in terms of receiving full and sympathetic consideration in the development and implementation of economic and other environmental policies. So this means our right to participate. This is what basically means, and here it includes also the right, for the workers to be part of a union, the workers to be part of anything that affects their rights as workers. And of course, for consumers, when any policy that is coming out from the government, the consumers then have a right to ensure that their voices are heard. We also then have the right to redress, and this means the right to fair settlement. And this again talks about the right to receive compensation for any misrepresentation of any shoddy goods or even unsatisfactory services. And this also includes for the workers themselves, that if they are injured or they are unfairly treated, they also have the right to redress. And also then the availability of different forms of legal aid or redress for any claims that both the workers or the consumers would like to make when necessary. The right to education, and here it means, of course, the right to consumer education, the right to workers' education, for us to be able to acquire knowledge, for us to be able to be skilled so that we become an informed consumer or an informed employee throughout of our lives. And then, of course, finally, we have the right to healthy environment, the right to have a physical environment that will enhance our quality of life, that we do not have, in that instance of when we have waste, which is, polluting our environment, or where we have the environment which is full of pollution as a result of chemicals, which basically affects our health. And also then when we talk about water and energy, again, how these utilities affect us, if when we talk about the issues of how electricity is generated, how water is conserved, and so on. So I'll stop there for now. I think I've highlighted about the rights of consumers and the rights of workers. And maybe we will go on to the next person, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Dato Indrani, for such an interesting introduction about the topic of not just talking about the rights of the consumer, but the fact that you have touches many issues with respect to the environment, the waste, the chemical. These are actually materials that are being used in the production of most of the businesses. But yet again, the responsibility for us to protect the environment, not only the clients, is actually in the hands of the people who are involved in the business itself, right? So while we are having all the compliances of the halal, processes, but again, even though we want to know about the source of the halal materials and so on, but the intention to throw away all the waste and all the activities, it's questionable. Why is it that all of a sudden, you want everything to be protected in terms of where the sources, but when it comes to the attitude of what happened after the product is being used, why is it put to waste or why it put to irresponsible consumption, right? So I think that power of consumerism has stretched not only just from the production itself, but also from the post-production to the post-consumer to the activities of what we believe. So I guess this is going to be a very interesting subject during the panel discussion. I'm giving you the hint about what I would believe I would like to touch about during the panel discussion regarding the attitude and the behavior of consumers themselves, right? And even though they have the rights, but what is the responsibility that is also taking shape? Now, we have the next speaker, which is Datin Jaiyah Shabudin, a very well-known person in the industry. She is very much involved in HR before. She knows a lot of the rights of the employees. And also, we want to ensure that what we're going to talk today is just not about the ethics of the employees, but also the ethics of how the preparation, how the attitude of the people who are delivering the services, plus activities, especially involved in tourism, involves two parties and the ecosystem. So in what extent, Datin, in your presentation that you believe you can highlight some of these values and how you're going to share this as part of your presentation. Thank you, Datin. Over to you.
Yeah, I'm mute pula ni. Macam mana? Okay. Alright. You can hear me, Doctor?
Yes.
Huh? Boleh?
Yes. Yeah.
I pula tak nampak saya punya ni. Screen. Uish. Mana screen saya? Doctor, I don't know. Where is... Oh. Macam mana? I'm mute. Okay, okay. Alright. Okay, you can hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, now I share sekali lagi my... Okay. Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Very good afternoon, everybody. And salam Ramadan to everyone, yeah. My topic given to me today is customer ethic to support Muslim-friendly tourism. It is related with what just now Datuk mentioned about the consumer ethic, consumer rights, consumer right. So now we are focusing on the consumer ethic in Muslim-friendly tourism. So this is about myself. Dr. No already introduced just now, yeah. Okay, these are the topic that I will highlight about the travel industry, consumer ethic that support
Datin, your slides, excuse me, Datin, your slide is not moving. So you must go to slideshow and move. Yeah.
Saya under slideshow ni.
I think there's a delay kot nak slide. So
slide.
maybe Datin, you can send the slide to us so we can play it for you.
Okay. Ya ke? Saya hantar pada doktor lah.
WhatsApp to me.
WhatsApp to doktor. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Because I'm from Kemaman. So Kemaman, the internet very slow lah. Buat masa ni. Yes.
Send me. Dah hantar dah?
Belum. Aduh, doktor. Saya pula tak tahu. Okay, send.
Okay, I will let the organizer handle this, okay? The meantime, Datin boleh continue lah.
But I can't see the slide.
Okay, tak apa Datin, nanti dia akan show the slide. Okay, alright.
Who's the organizer? The will.
Yeah, the organizer can show. So Datin boleh just share first whatever that Datin nak share with your topic before until our brother Muhammad will put it up. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. In terms of halal, just a bit recap. But about what we have this, our conference from the day one until today is about halal industry. So basically the halal industry, there's product, services, and lifestyle. So product normally we definitely we call it halal. Halal food, halal, that's on all halal, isn't it? While the services like slaughterhouse, we call it halal, logistic halal, but marketing, like yesterday, I forgot who the speaker yesterday, marketing is more on ethical marketing, isn't it? Which is aligned with the Islamic value, halal. And also the brand. And another services is banking. Banking, definitely, straight away we call it Islamic banking. We don't call halal or Muslim friendly. Banking is Islamic banking. And another category is lifestyle. Lifestyle is hospitality, tourism and hospitality, where in Malaysia we call it Muslim friendly tourism. But in some countries they call it halal tourism. And also some countries they call it Islamic tourism, But in Malaysia, definitely we call it Muslim friendly. And another part of under lifestyle category is fashion. Yesterday from Brunei, isn't it, mentioned about a modest fashion, We don't call halal fashion, no, we call it modest fashion. So these are the three categories, the halal industry, halal, Islamic, banking, and also the services, and also lifestyle. And tourism is the lifestyle. So when we talk about tourism, why do people travel? People travel because of leisure, and then business. Business normally MICE, meeting, incentive, convention, and exhibition. And then they travel because they want to visit their friends or relatives, And then travel because of religious, like pilgrimage. Muslim, we go for Hajj. Like non-Muslim also, they have pilgrimage, isn't it? Datuk. Datuk pun ada pilgrimage kan. And then medical reason. We call it medical tourism. In fact, Malaysia is top 5 medical tourism destination in the world. Yeah. And also people travel because of education, where we call it education tourism. And people travel because of climate. They want to experience, sun, sea, like we Malaysian, we want to experience the snow and all that. So that's why people travel. So travel in Islamic perspective, belum lagi ke doktor? The slide. So travel in Islamic perspective is Islam. We encourage Muslims to travel, to see the beauty of Allah creation, in nature, which reflects on the greatness of Allah. So it is encouraged in Islam. So indeed, the contemplation through the lenses of the travelers should bring themselves closer to the Creator, which is Allah. When we see, we feel that, it's something, someone is greater that create this nature or this one, So it makes us more obedient, more more committed to Allah, our Creator. So as mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Mulk. All right, thank you. Now is it? Doctor,
Yeah, it's on. Now it's
it's
on the content page, right?
okay.
Okay.
Travel, go to slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6,
Slide 6, yeah.
slide 6. Yeah, who control the slide, Doctor? Is it you or Brother Muhammad?
Brother Muhammad.
All right. Yeah. Okay, now we are already in slide 6, yeah. So you look at this, these are the content that I'm going to talk about travel industry and then consumer ethics that support MFT. MFT is Muslim friendly tourism. Then how consumer ethics can support the MFT. And then number 4, I map it. MFT versus SDG, Sustainable Development. We are mapping. Is it a realigned? And then of course, we conclusion. Boleh ya, Doktor? Hello, Brother Muhammad. Is it okay?
Yeah, Brother Muhammad is trying to do. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
going to the 6.
so if you look at the
Okay, let me. She has a problem there. Let me open it up for you. Can you see the slide now?
okay.
All
Yes.
right. So okay, because she's also overseas, so having a problem juga. So
Right. Okay. Okay.
let me show the slideshow, right? Okay.
Slide number 6
Right.
now.
Number
Right.
6. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay, now travel in Islamic perspective, yeah. So Islam is encouraged we Muslim to travel, so that we can see the beauty of Allah creation, yeah. So indeed is as mentioned in the Al-Quran, actually there's a 9 verse mentioned in the Al-Quran where Allah asks us to travel to see His creation, you know. But I just quote one, Surah Al-Mulk, verse number 15. Surah Al-Mulk is surah number 67, yeah. So it is He who made the earth, and them for you. So walk among its slopes and eat of His provision, and to Him is the resurrection. So means that Allah asks us to see, to to see to explore the world, see how His creation, and then don't forget we what the beauty and how great Allah is. So that is mentioned. Actually, nine verse is mentioned about how Allah asks us to travel to see His creation. But I just take one. Okay. All right. Next. Okay. The 8 tourism. Okay, boleh lah.
Oh. Ada dia lari, Datin. Like you lari. I don't know, because I turn next. Yang mana satu ni?
Yang tadi lah, just now was slide number 6. I think you don't have to put the slideshow mode. If you put slideshow mode, it's become lari, I think.
So from number 6 now it goes to number 7, right?
Yeah. Can you just make it all right? So the 8 tourism sector include accommodation, food and beverage, transportation, attraction, adventure tourism, travel trade, events or conference or known as MICE, and tourism services. And of course, all is very important to the travelers. Yeah. Okay. Next. Autumn. Okay. Definition of Muslim-friendly tourism. Yeah. So it is tourism which cater to Muslim with its products or services are in line with Islamic principle. regardless the location of their destination, either Muslim or non-Muslim countries. And the motivation of the journey can be religious or general. So means that we travel anywhere. Doesn't matter whether Muslim countries or we go to non-Muslim country also, no problem. And the reason why we go travel either for religious or non-religious, just for holiday or not. So as long as throughout the journey, the services are Sharia compliant. So that is Dr. Muhammad Batul call it halal tourism. Okay, another definition is type of tourism in compliance with Islamic teaching and not restricted to traveling to Muslim country and with religious motives only. So more or less the same as just now, but this one they call it Islamic tourism. Okay, next. Next definition is Malaysian definition. Is about we have the Malaysian standard. Yeah, it was developed in year 2015. The definition is product or services in tourism industry guided by Sharia requirements that cater to or provide facilities and services for Muslim travelers in accommodation, premises, tour packages, and tourist guide. Because in this Malaysia standard, comprises of three main parts, accommodation, tour packages, and tourist guide. I involved in developing this last time under the part of tourist guide because I'm a licensed tourist guide. Okay, all right, next. So it was developed in year 2015. Yeah. So what are the objective of Muslim-friendly tourism? Is to create an environment that respects Islamic principles and accommodates the culture and religious requirement of Muslim travelers or tourists. So that is the objective, the main goal. Right. Yes. Okay, so MFT, Malaysia, in short, we normally call it MFT, Malaysia Muslim Friendly Tourism Service Standard. So the standard normally halal certification means that all food, ingredient, restaurant throughout our travel, we must have halal certification. And then Muslim friendly tour packages. So these tour packages, the friendly transportation, friendly tourist guide, Muslim friendly tourist guide, where the accommodation also Muslim friendly, the accommodation or hotel, is designated prayer space along the tour and all that. So that, throughout the journey, the travelers, they don't skip pray. They can, if they are musafir, they can do jamak, either jamak takdim or jamak takhir, but at least must have the prayer space. And then Islamic ethic, of course, throughout the journey, the tour, and alcohol free. Adhere to modest dress code. This one normally tourist guide who handle the group must be modest dress code. And then family friendly services means that because in Islam we have kan ada kita we in even though in family father and mother and the children okay, but apa kita panggil doktor lupa pula yang air semayang ni tiba-tiba
Ablution.
makin batal air semayang tu kita dengan orang tu maknanya forgot already.
It's considered they are not within your mahram.
Mahram, bukan muhrim. Mahram. Yes. Okay. Okay, then halal or Muslim friendly services in health and wellness, because some people they go to the place they want they need spa or wellness, all that must be Muslim friendly, because in Malaysia we have Muslim friendly wellness or spa. Yeah. Okay, next. So the MFT market size is big, yeah. very big, and the growth rate is about 4%. By 2030, it's expected that $324.96 billion, not ringgit, billion dollars. So it's why is this growth very high growth rate? Because Muslim population growth rate also high. So the demand is there. So that's why now even in non-Muslim country like Japan, they are more towards that. In their airport, they have a prayer room now. All everywhere in Japan, because they know Muslim is their big market. Okay, next. But as mentioned by Dr. No yesterday or earlier than that, you mentioned that actually halal is a lifestyle, if a way of life. If we really practice from young, from home, we don't need we don't really need the enforcement. Everybody knows, just follow halal. So like Japan, because they already more or less they already practice Islamic values, isn't it? In terms of punctuality, cleanliness. So all that is Islamic value. So what they only need now is just prepare the provide the solat. I mean prayer place. That's it. And then halal certification restaurant. The rest they are ready. Okay, customer ethic to support MFP. What is customer ethic here? It's fairness and honesty, which means that oh yes, just now when I mentioned that consumer here is consumer refer to travelers and also the service providers, as well as the local community, the place that we visit. So means that what mentioned by Dato in Rani just now, when we talk about consumer, everybody is become consumer, isn't it? So everybody has a right. So we must protect our rights. So this is, we just embed the Muslim value into the consumer right. All right. Okay, so fair and honest practice when interacting with business or service providers and other travelers or tourists or local communities, which means that when we interact, when we visit a certain place, one destination, so the local communities, travelers, other consumers, so must be interact with fair and honest. And then social responsibility. Travelers or tourists demonstrate social responsibility that support community development initiative, where socially responsible consumption involve considering the broader social implication of purchasing this decision. Here means that we have a responsibility to support local community. That's why in sustainable tourism, United Nations Sustainable Tourism, they encourage travelers to buy something from the local community to support them, which is more sustainable. So even at least key change or any souvenirs from the local community. So that is according to United Nations, UNWTO. Yeah. And then the third one, ethic is sustainability, where consumer ethic also involve considering the environmental impact of consumption. Yeah, of course, sustainability when we visit for ecotourism, we must practice. They call it in tourism, we call it that what? At least no trace. When we go to that place, nobody can trace that we go to that area. So don't damage, don't make any distraction, especially in ecotourism. Don't make damage to our forest, river and all that. So that is sustainability. So which is eco-friendly product. We purchase eco-friendly product, reduce waste, don't just throw waste anywhere, you know. We have to bring back our waste. And then support business that prioritize environmental conservation and responsible resource management. That is our sustainability ethic. Okay, Doctor. So in a broader perspective, ada lagi, Doctor? That's all together. Yes. Respect for consumer rights. We have to respect consumer rights, like what Dato Indrani just now. Everybody has a right. So we have to protect the right of all consumers. You know, travelers, service providers, local community. Everybody has a right. So we respect their right of all parties. And then the fifth one is cultural sensitivity and inclusivity. So we have to respect, you know, the culture. And of course, Muslim culture might be different because in terms of like modest dress and all that. So the service providers, that's why service providers, they need to know what is the Muslim friendly expectation, Muslim friendly tourism or Muslim friendly travelers expectation. So they have to prepare that. Like ethnicity, religion, gender, and sexual orientation. So because we have what Dr. No mentioned just now, we have mahram. Mahram means that male and female, we cannot simply mix. Yeah. So must respect sensitivity of Muslim culture there. So then only Muslim can go to your place. Okay. Transparency and accountability. So ethical consumer values transparency and accountability in business. Of course, not only Muslim travelers. I think this one practice to all travelers as well. Yeah. Okay. These are the main ethic that support consumer ethic that support Muslim friendly tourism. Because when these ethics portrayed by the service providers like travel agent or local community, then the Muslim travelers they love to visit that area. Okay, all right. Next, Doctor. Okay, so consumer ethic reflect a commitment to making responsible and conscious choices as consumer, considering not only personal interests, but also broader social, environmental, and ethical consideration. So the ethics, you know. So by practicing consumer ethic, individual can contribute to support MFT, Muslim friendly tourism. So individual here mean travelers, service provider, travel agent, and local community. So it creates a more sustainable, equitable, and ethical marketplace. So that how consumer ethic to support. Okay, next. Okay, so how consumer ethic can support? So respect dietary for respect the for dietary restriction. So by choosing halal, you know, halal certified restaurant or request for halal meal when booking accommodation, consumer or travelers contribute to the sustainability of growth of MFT. So that because here, you know, there's a in market they must have service providers and client, isn't it? So when there is high request, so it is good for service provider. Okay, so accommodation of religious practice. So accommodation, Muslim travelers normally and they will encourage business or service providers to consider factors such as gender segregation. Because here, as we mentioned just now, the mahram, you know, or in Malaysia we call it muhrim. we cannot simply share room with male and female cannot simply share room. So that is must have gender segregation, facilities and availability of prayer mat and ablution, ambil air semayang ya, to fulfill Muslim travelers' requirement which comply to MFT standard. Because if the service provider doesn't provide this, so Muslim feel very hard to travel. So we don't travel to that place. So lost the business opportunity to that place, even though the place is have a very good attraction. So cultural sensitivity and inclusivity also. Consumer ethics can promote cultural sensitivity and inclusivity in tourism experience, where travelers can show respect to the local custom and tradition. So by embracing cultural diversity and avoiding behaviors that may often offend or disrespect local community, travelers contribute to creating a welcome environment for Muslim travelers. So which means that if the local community and the service providers, they provide, they adhere to the Islamic culture, cannot this especially in terms of mix male and female just now, and then the prayer mats, prayer place and all that. So when they have that, they feel that Muslim travelers feel that we are welcome to visit that place. So it's a words of mouth. When we go back to our home country or our place, we can tell our friends, oh, very good that place, easy to get halal food. The hotel also very according to Sharia compliant, all that. So it's encourage other people to visit that place. So that is how the ethic can support MFT. Okay, next. Next, doctor. Next slide. Slide seterusnya, doktor. Doktor, next slide. I don't see the next slide. Okay, and then support for ethical and responsible tourism practice, So the ethical consumerism in tourism extend beyond cultural and religious consideration to encompass environmental sustainability, social responsibility, and economic empowerment. You see, the MFT is not only for Sharia only, they're beyond that. So beyond that, in terms of sustainability, social, economic, and environment. So travelers can support business that prioritize ethical and responsible practice, which is Sharia compliant. So this is how this ethic can support MFT. Okay, the last how consumer ethic can support MFT is feedback and advocacy. So travelers can provide feedback to business and tourism authority regarding their experiences, including suggestion for improvement and area where cultural sensitivity and accommodation could be enhanced, So here, so by voicing these preferences and advocating for the needs of Muslim travelers, consumer can drive positive change and contribute to the growth of Muslim-friendly tourism globally. Yeah. Okay. And then we Muslim, we don't feel scared or not comfortable to visit the non-Muslim place or non-Muslim countries. Yeah. Okay. Next, doctor. Okay, when we map with Muslim-friendly tourism and sustainable tourism, the sustainable tourism is, is take full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impact, addressing the need of visitors and the industry, the environment, and host community. So this is definition of sustainable tourism. So now we map how Muslim friendly and sustainability is similar or realigned. So next slide, Doctor. Realign. Tak ada lah. Slide seterusnya. Tak bergerak. Doesn't move. I don't see the movement. Tak boleh. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. The middle one. Middle, Doctor. Middle slide. Not this one.
Somehow it got hang.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Share your tourism slide ni.
Ah.
All right.
Okay.
You can see now?
Oh, not this slide, Doctor. I think this is not my
Ini-
slide.
This is not your slide?
Yeah, no.
Then how come it gets you? Okay. Stop sharing.
Almost about 2 slides more.
This one, I think.
Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah. So Muslim friendly tourism, we map versus 17 SDG. So what we when we map it in Muslim friendly tourism, realign with 17 SDG is SDG number 5, gender equality. So Muslim friendly, we are not gender discrimination. It doesn't matter, gender doesn't matter for us as long as there's the of course segregation of accommodation, because that is according to is Sharia law, the mahram based concept. And then SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation. This one for, of course, everywhere we go, we need clean water. In fact, in Islam, we must use mutlak water, not mutanajis, not what or mutanajis water, not mustakmal. We want mutlak water for our ablution or that. And of course, sanitation, yeah. And SDG number 10, reduce inequality. So equal is equally. And SDG number 11, sustainable cities and communities. Yeah. So we are promote sustainable cities and communities, realign with the Muslim friendly. And then SDG number 12, responsible consumption. Of course, we are not supposed to all our rubbish we cannot drop anywhere, must be put, and then if possible we green it, segregate the rubbish and all that, the waste. And then SDG number 14, life below water. This one for those, for travelers, diving, for divers and all that. So life below water, they must adhere to the, take care to the other animal as well, makhluk also. And then SDG number 15, life on the land. Of course, I don't know about you all, but I only when visit on the land, I don't go under the water. I'm not a diver. I'm not good in swimming, yeah. Okay, so and SDG number 16, peace and justice. Of course, peace and justice is Islamic principles. And SDG number 17, partnership for good. Yeah, this one, collaboration or that, especially among the providers, service provider, then they can collaborate. If service providers non-Muslim, they can collaborate with the Muslim service providers. Doesn't matter for us as long as the service is Sharia compliant. So this is about the nine out of 17 SDG is realigned with the Muslim friendly tourism, or is some country they call it Islamic tourism, some country they call it halal tourism. Yeah. Okay. As a conclusion, my last slide will be as a conclusion is consumer ethics play a significant role in supporting MFT, Muslim friendly tourism, by promoting respect, understanding, and accommodation of Muslim cultural and religious practice. So hence, MFT services would encourage Muslim travelers to travel, especially to non-Muslim countries, if the destination provide that services, Okay, so I thank you very much for your interest to listen to my topic, and we hope that Muslim friendly tourism will boost as per research just now, research done in last year 2023, last year. So it's expected that by 2030 is 4% growth rate. Yeah. Okay, so we play a very important role as a travelers and as a consumer. So, Assalamualaikum
Thank you.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, Datin. Thank you very much for your insightful presentation on Muslim-friendly tourism. Yes, definitely. People are now traveling. As we say, this is off-COVID period. People are seeing that this is an opportunity to, go over places. And of course, the most favorite places are the places that they believe they are very friendly towards foreigners, right? Regardless whichever foreigners that are traveling. So I believe one of the biggest attraction about Malaysia is that we have we have been known as the heaven of food, and having all the, good, what I call the sea, the sun, and the weather, and also, of course, the nature. But if we were ever to, destroy the environment, definitely we whatever that we promote, or Muslim travelers or Muslim friendly travelers, it would not be attractive enough. So at the end of the day, we may have the best of all these situations, but if we don't protect the environment, the word Muslim friendly destination may not be a longer ranking us as the top 5. We could go down to top 10 only, right? So when we may go back to struggling to find back the brand. So I think one of the most important thing is, it's not about the opportunity that has opened up, but again, I said, the processes to ensure that we take care of prosperity in the ecosystem. Yeah, so we do not impact anything else just because of greed, just because of, you want to make money, and then the rest did not have the chance to, to be protected. So I leave the discussion later, Datin. Now I'm going to go to Syahika, Dr. Syahika, a young researcher, a talented researcher, a very strong scientist, and definitely she's going to guide us to give more impact regarding Hyperion, and why Hyperion could be solving some of the ethical issues that mostly the people who are in the halal industry, or people who are in the F&B, in the hospitality, can now able to benefit, because the research and the first ever in the world is carried out in Malaysia. So we should benefit. The halal industry in Malaysia should leverage and benefit from Hyperion technology. So without further ado, I bring upon Dr. Syahika to do your presentation.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. No, and also Dato' Indrani and Datin Jaiyah. Before I start, I think I would would love the point by Datin Jaiyah stating that it was encouraged for us Muslim to travel to see the beauty, the greatness of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So I think I'm going to use that sentence from the Quran to persuade my mom to allow me to travel more after this. Okay. Okay, without any further ado, I will share about Hyperion technology that powered by my company as a solution to to solve some ethical issue in the halal F&B and hospitality industry. And again, my name is Syahika Huda, and I'm working as a chemist in Tri Summit PMF Sunia Berhad, which is based in Johor, Malaysia. Okay, when we talk about the halal ethics in F&B and hospitality, okay, halal ethics standard is actually a set rules or value and principle that define the operations guideline within the industry following the Islamic law. Like in the food and beverage industry, the company or the industry will use the halal ingredients in the food and drink preparations must be according to the Islamic law, right? And then the food itself must be handled or must be processed by using hygiene conditions, including the processing, including the equipment that we are using, including the conditions of the premises, the kitchens, and also the industry must produce the food and drink that is safe to be consumed. After you handle the food in a very hygienic conditions, but if you didn't packet the food in a proper packaging, it still cannot be considered as a good food because the food has been contaminated. And we want to bring no harm to every consumer who consume the food and beverage from the industry. And also, the industry itself must committed to the food safety regulations so that we can provide the halal food and also the toyiban, which is inclusive of the good, safe, no harm, no contaminants to the consumer. And as well as in the hospitality industry, the hotel, maybe like the accommodation services, will provide a service according to the Sharia law, so that it will attract the Muslim traveler to come and use our hospitality and our services, not just limited to offering the halal food and drinks, but also the industry must provide the basic facility that in line with the Islamic teaching, Islamic Sharia law, as what has been, has been discussed by Datin Jaiyah just now. It's very clear that maybe the industry has to provide a prayer room for a Muslim tourist, separate between the non-halal and halal kitchen, so that Muslim friendly can satisfy and confident that their food is actually prepared in an Islamic way, in Sharia compliance. And maybe now, when we go to the hotel, maybe they also provide like a different, like a Muslim friendly spa. So we as a Muslim would be like more satisfied, more confidence. There would be like no mahram, no muhrim that was there when we are doing the service or receive the services. And also, what the hospitality industry needs to do to preserve to show respect to the consumer right is actually provide the good service quality. Means that they provide the clean room for them to stay, because when we go for a traveling, we wanted to rest ourselves, we want to enjoy the moment, we doesn't want to have like a mess in the room, right? We wanted to protect the rights for the consumer. And after a thorough reading, I found that the goals actually that the industry, in both industry halal and F&B and hospitality, the goal that they wanted to achieve throughout the product and the service that they are provided is actually they wanted to give the customer satisfactions and confidence. Okay, and I found that the hygiene issue is actually the mutual important element that will determine the customer satisfactions and confidence. When we go to, for example, when we go to the restaurant, maybe when we go to the hotel, the first thing first that will catch our eyes is actually, wow, the hotel is very clean, very neat. I really like it. Okay, it shows that hygiene is an important element in the product services and also in terms of the food safety. And hygiene itself has been inclusive in the Toyiban concept for halal compliance. which is the halal is seen as the subject and Thayyiban is seen as the practical processes. For example, like chicken. Chicken is halal, but does the way we process the chicken to be like a curry chicken in a hygiene practical way has been promoted by the Thayyiban concept. Okay, so halal and Thayyiban cannot, I say that in a halal compliant, it has to be together. And then attention. The industry need to give the attention to the hygiene related ethic issue to sustain the business growth and also to maintain the competencies of the halal compliance. And today I see that there is an emerging trend to incorporate Thayyiban into all stages of halal production, services, even a marketing, even in finance itself. And we see that Thayyiban also becoming a value-added factor in marketing halal product and services, not only for the Muslim consumer, but also to the non-Muslim consumer, so that non-Muslim consumer can get to know more about the Islamic teachings. Okay, when we talk about the hygiene as a mutual important things, we see that hygiene, the importance of the hygiene in the hospitality industry. When we go to the hotel and then they are give us a service like a dirty hotel, it shows that the dirty places is a good place for the bacteria to grow, to celebrate their raya, you know. And then when the accommodations that we stay is dirty, it might be a good place for the cross contaminations. And if we remember back in 2019 about the COVID, right? It's actually happened because of the cross contaminations of the bacteria, the viruses, and the people who are in contact with that will get illness, will get sick. And these things will ruin the customer vacations and also the dining experiences. And then the negligence to the hygiene itself will give impact to the customer satisfactions and likelihood of revisiting or recommending the destinations to their friends, to their relatives, and results, it will decrease the revenue for the tourism industry and also will create a potential financial loss for the business itself. So here that the industry need to very take a particular attention to maintain the high standard of the cleanliness and hygiene in their facilities, because we wanted to make sure that the services is the customer or consumer's choices. And this includes that the service provider need to do the regular cleaning, disinfecting of the spaces, the counter table, any kinds like a frequently contact surface. We need to thoroughly clean because we don't want the bacteria and germs to grow and cross-contamination. It will be travel from one places to one places due to the contact of the person from one places to the one places. And also, the importance of halal hygiene in halal F&B is when we neglect the hygiene practice in food processing, it will cause the pathogenic microorganism, which is like the bacteria, the viruses, to infect the food and drink. And then the food will be contaminated. And WHO also have stated that they has come up with a statistic that says that every year, 1 in 10 people will get sick due to the foodborne disease, due to the consumptions of the contaminated food. And this is something that we need to avoid by preserving the hygiene ethics, the hygiene practice in the industry. And then also, when the food has been contaminated, the food itself will be spoiled. And now, the spoiled food, we cannot longer consume, we cannot longer eat, we cannot longer cook, and it will end up in the garbage. And it will increase the waste generation. This is something that we need to cater, starting from the hygiene practice in every setting, not just in halal, not just in hospitality, but also in our daily life. And then what I want to share here is about the microbial attach and attack as the issue in adopting the hygiene practice in halal Thayyiban. As I mentioned just now, the pathogenic microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and algae is kind of a microorganism that have potential to cause infectious disease and bring harmful to the consumer. Something that bring harmful is something that we wanted to avoid in our halal concept, in our Thaiban concept, right? Because Thaiban concept is a practical process to promote cleanliness, hygiene, good, safe, high quality, ensure the food safety, ensure that the services, the product is safe, and then we can gain the customer satisfaction and confidence. However, when we are neglecting the issues of the hygiene, and it will create the microbial attack, the bacteria will grow, will spreading. It will give issue to the cleanliness, hygiene, and contamination, and safe in complementing the halal Thaiban ethics. This is some of the example. When we talk about the microbial attack, for example, when you have like a surface, maybe like your pen, something that you frequently use in the countertop when you are serving your customer, taking an order, something sort of like that, there might be like a bacteria attached on it. When we doesn't clean it thoroughly, okay, clean it like 100% it clean, slowly your product will getting brittle, the discoloration happen, it's not fancy enough for you to use, and it's getting dirtier, and also it will create uneven, a very bad smell. Okay, and then also when the bacteria they attack, as I mentioned just now, the food will spoil due to the pathogenic microorganism attack. And also, like for example, your kitchen cutting board, sometimes it's getting dirty. It's not just dirty, it is actually the colony of the bacteria is already growing on your product. It is something that we need to cater by practicing hygiene. And then when we look at the more wider picture, this pathogenic microbial growth contamination can put more severe effect. For example, it do the cross-contamination, as we mentioned, and it will spread the infectious diseases, food contamination, and the people will get sick. It give pressure to the health risk, and also give pressure to the healthcare burden, and also the governments also need to give more money to strengthen the healthcare system, buy antibiotics for their nation. So it is something that we need to highlight, and we need to cater about this one. The product spoilage itself. When the product is already spoiled, it will end up in the garbage. It shorten the food shelf life, it shorten the product lifetime. You cannot reuse. It's not encourage the recyclability. Okay, so end up something spoilage will go to the garbage. It will increase the waste generation, and we know that right now the world already generate 2.1 billion tons of solid waste annually, and it expected to grow to 3.4 billion by 2050. Imagine, we live with people and also we live with the garbage. It is something not very good. In terms of the sustainability aims also, we need to reduce this kind of the issues. Because of what? Because the waste generation will affect the environmental, create more environmental pollutions, increase the world temperature, global warming. And also, it's stated that 1.6 billion of carbon dioxide actually generated during the waste disposal treatment. So imagine, we already create the waste, and when we wanted to treat, we create another waste. And I love, whenever I go, I give a talk, I love to give this like a germ alerts to let the people know that actually some of our household items, even in the F&B industry, even being used in the hospitality industry, is dirtier than our toilet seat. For example, your cutting board. The average cutting board dirty is 200 times more dirtier than our toilet seat. Little did we imagine. Okay, we thought it's just like oh, it's just black, nothing, we just scratch, clean it. But do you sure that it's thoroughly clean? And also other kinds of the frequently touched surfaces like the remote TV, it is something that can be a perfect place for the cross contaminations of the microbes, for them to live faster, make more festivals, celebrating whatsoever, when we are not properly clean and disinfected. But now, however, the typical solution, the conventional solution that we are keep on doing right now, which is using heavier detergent or washing. We use a lot of sanitization. We need to sanitize it like maybe every minute, every hours, right? So it will be more costly and non-sustainable. Like for example, common method normally used in the F&B industry to clean the cutting board, they will use excessive of water, excessive of detergent and disinfectant. So it will give pressure to the cleaning cost. And even sometimes they use the hot water, but you need the energy to boil the water. So it will increase the utility bills. It is something that we need to cater. We need something, one solution, a convenient solutions that not just cater the issue of hygiene, but also can give a sustainable value to the product itself and also to the environment in a broader way. So what we are inventing right now is our antimicrobial technology, okay, as a groundbreaking approach in ongoing battles against harmful microorganisms and infectious disease. So a bit introductions about what we're preparing in our laboratory R&D. We name our antimicrobial additive as a Hyperion. It is a high potency zinc-based antimicrobial additive. It's come in a powder form. And the function is to kill and reduce or prevent the growth of harmful microorganisms. And it will give protections 24/7 to you. You doesn't have to disinfect your product in your F&B kitchen, in your table counter for customer services, all every hour. And then it gives, we have tested the efficiency. It has like 99.9% of antimicrobial activity. Even when we put this additive, only 0.5% content in every product that we develop. And it is flexible because it's come in a powder form. It can be seamlessly incorporated to build in the product in the manufacturing sector, which means that when we approaching a manufacturer, sometimes the manufacturer says that, oh, this one is not really sustainable because it will increase our product manufacturing, because we need to alter some of the processes. But no, you can just use it direct from the powder using the actual setup that the manufacturer have. So it gives another like sustainable value to the manufacturer that wanted to use these things to make the product for the F&B and hospitality industry. And we have tests this product under US FDA and EU regulations, stating that this is very safe to be used for the food contact. So means that you can use this one to make the product in your industry that related to the food contact. It is safe. And also, this product has been certified green manufacturing process by the GPM Global USA, which is led by Dr. No. We use like very minimal amount of raw materials, showing our commitment to the sustainability, that we doesn't want to over exploiting the resources. We monitoring how much level of carbon dioxide is actually producing when we produce these things, because we wanted to produce a green product to give value to other products, to give the green value, sustainable value to other products. And this product also is very seamlessly incorporated in any kind of materials. For example, when we look at the F&B and hospitality, maybe these things you can put it to make into an antimicrobial cutting board, antimicrobial beddings, curtain shower, countertops, toilet dispenser, your head shower, and maybe the paint that you painted your facilities, your accommodations also, to make it more hygiene and clean, because it will help you to kill the bacteria 24/7 even when you sleep. So it is very green. It's minimizing the use of waste to cleaning, reduce the cost to buy the disinfectant to keep on cleaning, and also reduce the labor cost. So we are not over abusing our maybe our worker to keep on cleaning every minute, something sort of like that. And then this is actually I've mentioned before, but let me rephrase it again. What's the benefit that the industry can have when they are using a product that already built in with the antimicrobial properties. It gives 24/7 of the product protections against growth. Okay, when the product is clean, there might be that no cross contaminations. It will reduce the healthcare burdens, avoid the infectious disease infection. And also it contribute again to the hygienic, cleaner product systems and environment. It will extend the food shelf life. It make the product safe for the consumer to be consumed, and also protect against the foodborne, waterborne diseases, especially when we try to embed this product into water pipeline. Sometimes pipeline also inside that we doesn't know whether it's really clean or not, because nobody is cleaning it there. So if you have the antimicrobial pipeline, you can give like more confidence that the things that you are actually using is clean. Also, it will promote the product reusability and recyclability, because it was clean. It was so, when we know something that is clean, something that having another good properties, we keep on using it. Maybe we can repurpose it for another things, and it will reduce the waste generations, reduce the water and energy usage for the cleaning, for the maintenance, and also improve the indoor air quality. Because sometimes when you go to some places, maybe you go to the hotel and then you enter the room, suddenly you smell like, not the hotel, I think it's more like a prayer room sometimes, right? You can find that, oh, there's might be a smell, but I'm not so sure what kind of smell is that, right? So that smell is actually coming from the fungi smell. We thought, oh, I thought this was my stocking smell. No, it was not your sock smell. It's actually coming from the bacteria. It is something that we need to cater. But some people doesn't know it, maybe because of the awareness, maybe because of the transfer knowledge that we try to bring, is not that really adequate enough. And again, here, I wanted to like incorporating to see whether it is true that these antimicrobial properties can give value to the Tayyiban principle in lieu of the global concerns of halal, ethical, and sustainability issue. So it started from the like very small things, maybe like your chopping board used in the F&B industry. Like, right, we build in that things with the antimicrobial properties, what you can give. At the first level, you will kill the bacteria. You prevent the pathogens and prevent the contaminations. You will create the hygiene practice and environment, give product and service safety, and all those things is actually inclusive in the Tayyib practice. And the second level, when you have this hygiene practice being applied, starting from the very normal practice, it will give the customer confidence and satisfaction, reduce the health burden, reduce the waste generation. And when we go to more broader things, it becomes like increase a business profit, because customer is already confident with your product. I like to use your services because you are very amanah, barakah, because you really do the hygiene practice very well. You can get trust from all the stakeholders. And also you will reduce the resources usage like water. Right now we need to conserve the water, right? Because of the water pollution issues. And at the end, we can see ourselves as the caretaker of the earth, as the Khalifa, because we are responsible on the consumptions. We reduce the amount of water that we use. We reduce the we doesn't throw the food. We make sure that the food doesn't spoil, and we can prevent the pollutions in terms of the water, land, and air, and keep the earth healthy by reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. And at the end of the day, when everything has clean, hygiene, high quality, it also can boost our spiritual. Because I believe when you consume something clean, your heart also will be clean, your mind also will be clean. Halalan and Toibah will create our spiritual and character. Yeah, and I believe that in Islamic teaching way. And as a conclusion, it is an appropriate moment now for the halal policymaker to consider even more strong Tayyib concept as a benchmark for the best practice of halal management activities to elevate the value of the halal product and services and become a reliable alternative practice for the global halal industry. And here, the Hyperion technology itself as an opportunity to be used as the antimicrobial agent, and it can be the next driver also for the eco-ethical aspect that helps in putting cleanliness, hygiene, and sustainability elements to strengthen the Paiman Code of Practice and halal standard compliance. And that's all for me. And be the change with the 3 Summit. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Syahika. I think that really gives a little bit of an angle that I think what the 3 speakers has been talking about is very relevant. Yeah, very relevant in the sense that, okay, we're talking about all about ethics. Dr. Dato Idrani talks about the ethical values of, what is it that you're going to give back to the consumer with the fact that you are marketing a lot of the concept of halalan thayyiban, everything that is supposed to be good. Now, when we talk about good, is it good enough for us to understand whether the component of that values is transferred? Now, I give an example of a Japanese. The Japanese people, I used to have a Japanese boss, and the Japanese boss tend to say that they love to buy back from Japan. So now I always ask this question, why do you want to come? Why do you want to buy everything from Japan? This is, Dr. Noor, the quality that we know is guaranteed is when we buy our own product, because we know the seller always take care of the consumer. Now, that is again very, very, what I call impressive to hear. And I myself have been to Japan many, many times, and I have seen the operations of the people, even though they don't call themselves halal or Muslim friendly tourism, but the activities that they do, it's so responsible that they always take care of the customer first, regardless whether the customer demand for it. So there is a question of, when you talk about consumerism, a lot of the fact why the consumer is voicing out, because it has not been transferred the way it should be. Just like the Japanese, when they transfer everything, the fact that the client is more important than the product, whereas a lot of people always think it's the product and the price that is more important for the consumer. So again, I would like to call upon Dato Idrani to give your comment regarding what is actually the true meaning of quality, right, to the consumer. Is it something that the consumer must voice and only is given, or it is this from the mind of the producer, that when they talk about values, it's not about something that has to be put on the price. It has got something that is coming from the attributes, right, of the values that it has to be felt by the consumer. Maybe you can give some word of advice here.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, when we talk about issues like, I think both the other speakers have already touched about this. I think before, when I talked about the rights, these were basically more of transactional processes where, you have a contract and so on. But I think now it has gone beyond transactions. We have now issues like broader issues like transparency, privacy, the right to information. I think these are all now, I would say, core to any products or services for the consumers. So, it's not only looking at us as an end user, but I think we're looking at the welfare, looking at the environmental aspects. So issues like transparency, where it talks about, like what you mentioned just now, Doctor, about pricing, the product's life cycle, when we talk about eco-labeling, I think these are all very important core components that must be there. And also issues like data privacy. I think we didn't touch about that, but I think that's really very core for a consumer. I mean, look at the EU now. And European consumer is protected. It doesn't matter where the European consumer is or a tourist is. If the person decides to travel to Malaysia, the Data Protection Act follows that particular person right to Malaysia. And I think that really says a lot in terms of even when we talk about data protection, privacy, because that really now is core to when a product, you know, is there. So I think these are now going beyond just a transactional, you know, product. But it goes beyond that, and these are some things that we have to look at. And in terms of quality, again, safety, I think everybody mentioned about the issue of safety, misleading advertisements. I think these are all definitely important issues and must form a critical component of any business ethical framework. And minimizing carbon footprint, also then reducing waste. If we look now, we are in a society which is wasteful, really wasteful. I think we can also see that now, even now during Ramadan, how much of food is being wasted when we go to the bazaars and so on. So we are not incorporating all these valuable principles into the products and services that we give out. The last point that I would like to say, that the companies must also go for responsible sourcing as well, that their supply chains are environmentally friendly. At the moment now, as I mentioned earlier, the number of cases of cancer has gone up in Malaysia. And one of the contributory factors is the food that we consume, the air that we breathe. Again, it all relates to environment and food safety. So definitely the sourcing of products as well by businesses plays a very core important role. And I think all that goes towards quality of a product. And then, of course, then we have the extended producer responsibility, not only for the producer to produce the product, but then to also ensure that the product is also then recycled, and also, you know, that it where does it end up, you know, not at the landfill, but it must be able to be reused or recycled or upcycling. These are some of the things that we need to look at, because most of the products now are all you know, produced with this in mind, planned obsolescence, that, you know, that in within you know, you dispose gloves, you dispose plates, you dispose you know, cups and saucers. Now everything is disposable. Where is it going? It's going to the landfills. So I think these are some of the things that we need to be looking at. The extended producer responsibility. Producers who are earning income must ensure that their products are recycled or are disposed in a responsible manner. And I think I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato'. Thank you, Dato'. I understand your feeling, Dato', because I have been coaching on sustainability for quite some time. All right. Now, the fact that a lot of people still operating on product process for fit mode. When they talk about product process, so they don't care about who is a client that they need to take care, and how does the client itself manage the product that they have sold to. So there is no element of responsibility transferred. Nowadays, sustainability, we talk about product, process, people, planet, prosperity. It's not about just the process itself that is important. So the sustainable halal element is not about just a halal process. Sustainable halal element is about the entire protection for the ecosystem to be sustainable with the consumer, with the production, with the materials, with the environment, all. That's why it is a complete, what we call, assessment on the quality of the producer. That's why the producer should not just be involved in production. The producer should be involved in the project of the production, where it involves the production, involve the people, the planet, the prosperity, and overall the sustainability element that can sustain a bigger, what I call, a bigger milestone and a bigger lifestyle. All right. Now, coming back to I'm going now to Syahika, Dr. Syahika. You talk about the materials, right? Now, the materials that you talk has got components that can be considered as green procurement, right? Buying something that is from you that has got the green elements. Now, the fact that there is the carbon footprint, which Dato' has mentioned, now everyone have to have their labeling. Now, anything that you do, they ask you for your carbon footprint. whether you are in the services, which later on I got to talk to Datin, and then with the fact that your green products can also help, since you have been certified under green project management, you understood your carbon emission. Now that the people who's going to use your material, all right, so you as a supplier under scope 3, you could use your material to help those people who are involved in this food packaging, involved in the preparation of the halal products, to be more important in understanding not just about the green element, but the emission issues, right? So you have touched so good regarding what it can help the halal industry. Now, one thing, material is one, whether it's zinc oxide. Number two is whether your carbon emission can support their carbon resources also. But the marketing of something good for the people to understand the whole project, because they are all only in production of halal. But you are talking about material to create the sustainability of the hygiene. Now that I would believe is a big challenges for you. So let's hear from you.
Okay, I do really agree to Dr. No that right now we are actually facing quite challenges in marketing to create awareness or let people know what the product is. Even sometimes my sister says that, hey sister, what you are doing at work? I say that, oh, I'm developing an antimicrobial activity, antimicrobial agent. And she was like, what was that? Is it an animal or is it a food, something that I can eat? Maybe because first, the consumers, or maybe more lemon is people doesn't understand the concept of that things. So it will give the challenge on that. So what we need to do when we are offering our product to the sector, to any other manufacturer, because we are just the manufacturers of the antimicrobial additive, not the manufacturers of the food packagings or a chopping board or antimicrobial clothes textile whatsoever. So we have to educate the manufacturer the benefit that their product can get from us. That's the first thing. Because if the production line doesn't understand what they are doing, so it's just like a waste for me to create such a very green product. Because people doesn't understand. People will not value the things until they understand the functions, the benefit that they can get. And then once we transfer the knowledge to the manufacturer, of course, the manufacturer will say that, okay, I wanted to build such a new variant of product, which is the antimicrobial lipsticks or antimicrobial a shawl, maybe. So they will start to educate their clients about that things. How good it would be, what's the benefit that you can have it. Like, for example, even now, I love to purchase a shawl that having antimicrobial properties, because I know it, when I use it, there will be no smells on me. And I don't have to wash it like every day. Maybe I just use 1, 2, third time, fourth time, and then I wash it. So I save in terms of the water. So this is actually the manufacturer need to advertise when they are launching their product, so that it can get to every parts of the customer. Wherever you are, you know the value is coming from what. But the most important things, we need to educate the manufacturer first. So when the information is there, they can start to give the information to the other parties. And even ourselves also, as a manufacturer, what we did is, when you have used our product, we will help you in advertising your product, so people will know more about this one.
Thank you.
The good things on that. Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Syahika. I mean, that to me was a great answer to advised. Yeah, it is a smart partnership. Whatever that you do under that green product, other people take the value. Now, the challenges is not from your side. The challenges is also from the manufacturer side, because they need to update regarding what are the products that can go already upscale to a level that can create that safety, that where the savings, right? And also values in terms of hygiene and so on. If those days people have to wash every day and water is scarcity, therefore with Hyperion, they can limit the washing and help save the water and electricity. So that, I think, the message of sustainable halal product, come into light. Now, let me ask Datin. Datin, you have been very familiar with green project management. You've been very familiar with sustainability. You have been very familiar with the understanding of the Muslim-friendly tourism and so on. Now, the fact that the way we market Muslim-friendly is always about the site, the food, right? But they want to learn more. A lot of the tourists, they said, I come to Malaysia many times. What more can I get from Malaysia other than seeing sightseeing and all that? So we have not really pushed the concept of the quality of that Muslim friendliness in terms of values, and even though with the halal product, in terms of its values, it's just that we expect people to understand as what it is. So there again, the promotion and the marketing for the consumer to have that Muslim choice. I want that Muslim choice. Even though they may not use the word halal, it could be very religiously bounded, but the fact that I want that Muslim choice, the people that care for the people, that care for the society, that care for the environment, that care for the, the hygiene and all that. So that again must be incorporated in that Muslim-friendly environment. So what is your comment on this, Atin?
Okay, in travel right now, especially right now, it's already some people, they travel by themselves. They don't use service providers. They just Google and when they want to go. So in terms of if they come here using proper travel agent, they normally come, travel agent normally provide them tourist guide, Muslim friendly tourist guide. We have Muslim friendly tourist guide, So where the tourist guide will tell them about all the information that doctor mentioned required by the tourists. Or else, if they come here by themselves, they have to Google. Of course, they have so many choices in Malaysia, isn't it? There's a Muslim friendly and non-Muslim friendly, and then some even the Muslim business, they don't have the halal certification also, isn't it? So that's why in tourism, because especially now, it's up to them. If they come with travel agent, proper tour package, yes, we can assure they can request. But if they come by themselves, they have to find out here. And of course, a lot of effort need to be given by the government to, to train the industry players in Muslim-friendly tourism. Yeah, that is what my observation. Otherwise, just like if they come DIY, we call it DIY, do it by yourself, isn't it? So yeah, it's up to them. What do they choose? Their choice is based on their Google choice.
So this is what I meant to say. This is what I'm saying generally. The standards may be, there will be double standard. The one that goes through the tour guide, they will get to have more information. One that doesn't go to the guide, they do the DIY, they will not get information.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm trying to say. There is no element of how do you standardize information so that those who want to have a choice, yes, they can still get the information. For those who wants to have a DIY on their own, they still get them. So there is a consumer rights there, all right? To get the right information, not just because I have to go through a proper channel, then only I get it, right? So this is an open market. The opportunities are there, the challenges are there, but at the end of the day, who foresee the growth of the industry, the tourism industry, is that you can see that people will always take a ride on whoever has got the early advantage. Now, a lot of people who are supposed to be the true so-called warrior of the halal industry, they're not out front, they're at the back. And this is where there are always other people who take the advantage, who will benefit more. And I know about the tourism sector where the other operators are benefiting, where our local operators are not. Because it is a lot of opportunities. But if we keep putting challenges to the people who wants to support halal tourism, and that's where they have no other choice, but they have to do it their way. And when they do it their way, they find it that, other people will say, this is not correct, this is not halal, or this is not Muslim friendly. So this is what I'm going to say. Are we Malaysians taking the advantage of what the policy that we have, and are we just relying on the very few to do the branding, the marketing, and so this is why I say, are we really taking a loss? So I open this question to anyone in this floor to answer me. The challenges and the opportunity are there, but it is always the early birds will take the earliest advantage. But if we are always relying on regulators to keep on regulating, you can't regulate the industry.
Yes.
Because it is an open market. So again, I leave it to everyone who wants to answer this. This will be a very interesting answer sessions. Please.
Yeah, I think for me, I think from the consumer side, for the consumer actually has to be assertive. I think over the years, we have seen the younger generation now being a little bit more discerning about their rights compared to the older generation. Maybe, with the barriers of those days with, some of the oppressive laws in place. So people were afraid to, assert their rights or to raise issues or to participate in public policy making. But we can see now with the Gen Z, especially with the millennials and so on, they're much more braver. They don't know anything about ISA, OSA, and so on. So I think now when we're talking about consumers, to be able to be assertive, they must first be united. They must first be in solidarity. So together, they must organize themselves and to raise issues. Number two, I think we have to push for this issue of collective redress. I think you talked about it, Doctor, just now earlier about redress, that we must have the right to redress, but not only the right to have redress, but also to have the right on collective redress, because sometimes some of the businesses, they not only affect one single individual, but a group of individuals. And our current legal system does not allow us to obtain redress as a group. You have to take up cases, or you have to take up any legal recourse as an individual. So I think there are many areas that we can actually ask for improvement, but consumers must assert themselves. They must be in solidarity. They must have this awareness about environment. Many of our consumers in the remote area still are not aware. You still see open burning happening, in remote areas and so on. So people still don't understand about the carbon footprint. There are many areas that we need to still educate the consumers. And also the issue of social concerns. What is the impact of our consumption on others? Still many people do not understand that. And then, of course, we have to take action. We do a lot of consumer education activities, but if consumers do not change their behavior and they do not, inculcate the information that they receive into action, then, again, nothing can be done. So I think these are the areas of change that we need to see among the consumers. So which means the activities that both businesses, policymakers, and consumer organizations do must ensure that consumers now take action, and they must know that they must act responsibly and they must also consume responsibly.
Thank you, Dato. The theme of our International Halal Conference is about ethics and how we integrate ethics in whatever we do, whether ethics among the consumers, ethics among the manufacturers, the producers, the R&D people, and the service providers. Anything to do is, at the end of the day, underlying factor is ethics. While Malaysia is known to have Eastern values, whether the Eastern values is integrated with ethics. So a lot of people has already, we see the devaluation of that Eastern values, because we tend to be more exposed with the Western world and how Western world look at values in a different way, the openness, right? So I know there are a lot of debate on what is ethical in the Muslim community, and what is ethical in the non-Muslim community. So again, that is a very highly debatable subject, because our basis is as according to the Quran. So we don't go anything against it, right? Because it's our principle, our rukun. But in other hand, there is a business principle that the law is quite transparent to ensure that there is no wrongdoing to harm anyone. Ethically, you're not supposed to do that, even though regardless of any religion that you are in. So again, we are all bounded with principles, our religious values, our legal values, and our community. That is what we need to be giving our sharing of our values. That's where we become the culture. We became the one, what they call one country, one culture, not just having multiple cultures, but we are not united as to the values. So I think, is there anyone else who wants to say something before I close the session? Anybody wants to add on? I give to the floor. Anything that you believe that we miss out and you want to say something?
The key point, Doctor, here is attitude, isn't it? Our attitude. It's
Always about it.
I like with what you mentioned earlier. I mean, other session, you said attitude, when the way we brought up, you know, at home until in the community. So if the positive attitude, like just like Japan, Japanese community is very good attitude, you know. So if we had a positive attitude, we don't need enforcement. Isn't it?
Correct, I think.
Yes.
So I agree. A lot of us are highly educated because we are seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? But a lot of people are also competent. That's why we have the halal certification to create that competency, to embed it, that knowledge and that competency into very good product or services. But when people look at the product and services, is there a transformation in the society with respect that there is such good products? So again, the attitude is reflected in the transformation. That's why you see Japan, Korea, or many other countries, they are protecting the environment, they are protecting certain issues because they have the right attitude towards those factors, right? So again, that's why I say do not stop ourselves just because we are learned, we are qualified, we know how to be competent in addressing issues. But at the end of the day, what Datin said, the attitude shows the transformation of the mind. So if the mind is not having the right mindset for that transformation, that's where we will remain stagnant. Whether it's stagnant in terms of its culture or stagnant in terms of its moderate progression, or stagnant in terms of its contribution back to the society, environment, and to the economy. So with that, I thank you, everyone. I think this has been a lovely session, a lively session. I know I tend to oversee 4 o'clock timeline, but I know that this is a topic that we shouldn't just cut short just for the sake of the time. But I know everyone is having Ramadan as part of our Muslim principles. So to those who celebrate, who are performing the buka puasa, so who are fasting, I wish you selamat berbuka puasa. And for those non-Muslims who are celebrating together with our Muslim community, we also wish you to have good health and also good spirit of Ramadan. And to the organizer, Brother Noor, who has been supporting us all along. And tomorrow is our last day. Dr. Alina will be there to close the ceremony. So we hope this conference has really benefited all of us. And for those who miss the session, they can always look at our YouTube and all other channels so that they can learn for what we have discussed in all our 7-day sessions. So with that, thank you everyone, and have a nice day. Inshallah, we see each other again. Thank you for your
Thank you.
lovely
Thank
contribution.
you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dato'.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dr. Syahika.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Datin, Dr.
Thank you.
Bye, Dr. Noor.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Apa Rio yang dapat 360 hari itulah, Doktor?
Yes, apa yang dapat?
Okay. Alright.